One of the few rare things in the world, surfing, is that can bring people together, no matter what race, creed or colour. We're all under the one sky, united we stand, we share the weather, and that's our band together. We are the Surfing Tribe.
We're very close to the border with Northern Ireland, which is technically a different country. So in Northern Ireland there's quite a divide between two communities. You've got Protestants and Catholics. So what my brother does, he brings Protestant children from a school in Northern Ireland down to Bundoran, and the school here is obviously predominantly Catholic children, so they use a medium like surfing to bring them together and let them bond.
Even though it's 15 miles north, most of them have never even been to this part of Ireland, and together, once they all got in the water, there was absolutely no separation between them. They were just all laughing and screaming and playing and cheering for each other, and it was like, I don't know if it hit us harder or them, what was actually going on, but it was beautiful.
He caught a wave and he turned around, he goes, "That's the best thing I've done, all year," and he was just pumped up, so excited, and his hair was wet and there's snot coming out of his nose, and he's beside a little Catholic kid from town here, so it was very, very good. It was a good buzz to see him.
One of the kids got on the beach and he looked at me, and he was really quiet, but he got a really good ride, and he looked at me and he said, "So how much do these surfing boards cost anyway?" And I could tell, I knew he's hooked. He was hooked. I guarantee next year when we come back he'll have his own board.
Well, I didn't really know what it was going to be like today, but whenever I came along and I seen the big waves, I just wanted to get out there and surf, and whenever I got out there, I got up once, and it was wicked. Keep saying I never surfed before. I'd like to try it again, so I would.
It looks hard on the TV, but it's easy enough.
You can take yourself and just go out there and do your best.
Recommend it to anybody who wants to come surfing.
Then later on, when we got up on the beach and we were talking to some of the local guys, they were like, that was actually really heavy. A lot of these kids have never been down in this part of Ireland. They're Protestants and they were surfing with the Catholic kids, and the local guys that were watching it all. It was a pretty big deal, and it was fun to be a part of. And for us, it was easy, and we had a blast.
In Hollywood, a happy ending for a surf movie has the hero leaving the beach because he's wised up to the importance of hard shoes. Sometimes the crazed fool decides to go for one last kick and drowns like a rat. Somehow this subtle message of get out of the water and put on your shoes has been totally lost on real surfers. Their names are legendary in surfing, with a combined wave riding experience of over 150 years, because real surfers never quit. Every year they come to Costa Rica to stay at the vacation home of Robert August. Robert's a true believer in that what goes around comes around.
In Hawaii they have the aloha spirit. Costa Rica they have the pura vida spirit, pure life. We're only on this planet a little while. Don't mess with it, enjoy it and spread a little cheer, and then you're gone.
Robert was 18 when he rode the perfect wave in the endless summer. Amazingly, he seems to have never stopped.
Those are the guys that make surfing what it is. And, you've got Robert, who comes from a surfing family. His father was a great surfer. He has a great heritage, and he's passed that heritage and that stoke onto his son. And then, Robert's passed it on to his son. And the family tradition of what it represents carries on.
If you have surf for any period of time, it can't go out of your mind. And there's still that same excitement when you paddle out, because every wave you catch is going to be different. And you might be in the spot for the best wave of the day, whether you're really smart or not. You could just luckily be sitting there and look up and go, my God, it's coming to me. It's my wave.
What they lose up top is gained in the middle, but the talent remains. The perfect example, former U.S. champion Mark Martinson.
First wave Mark caught, he pulls into the tube and travels about 15 feet right in front of me. I'm thinking, hey, man, guy's like 55 years old or something, I can't do that.
It's always surprising when an apparent suicide attempt turns into a great wave. That's experience.
and the whole environment is so alluring, and it's one of, offering great peace and happiness and giggles and a wonderful memory that you come away with. That, to me, that's the perfect way.
Paul Strauss' style set a standard for a generation. Jerry Lopez still calls him his idol. They're living out their childhood dreams, surfing, having fun.
Even though it's like 40 years ago, you can still paddle out together and go surfing. You can't go play football with each other when you're our age. You'd all be in the hospital the next day, casts and stuff.
They won't break any bones, but they will take a few shots.
Surfing is a selfish sport. It's about you getting a really good wave. Screw the other guy. It's the same thing. Hanging out with old guys, you're gonna look good.
Robert Weaver, Wingnut, the nickname says it all. His non-stop repartee masks a deep-seated admiration for Robert, Paul, and Mark. They were his idols as a kid and the reason he's a surfer. It's their inspiration that has allowed Wingnut to fulfill another need, to constantly be the center of attention. They casually charge from one adventure to another with a zen-like confidence that no matter what happens, they're going to enjoy themselves.
It's not the result of when you get there, it's anything that can happen along the way.
They take nothing for granted, and they never forget how lucky they are. For them, these are the good old days.
The first 20 years is just to figure out if you're really interested or not. And then the journey doesn't really begin until on the second 20.
For those who started surfing in the 50s, surfing has changed. A rebellious subculture has become mainstream.
When I started to surf, there was maybe 1,000 surfers, and you kind of almost knew all the guys that surfed. And then in 1959, that whole thing happened where the movie Gidget came out, and the whole thing got commodified, and it went from maybe 2,000 people to 4 million people in 3 or 4 years. It was like a hula hoop that never went away.
And neither has Gidget. Kathy Koner was given that nickname back in the 50s when she surfed Malibu. She was just a teenager and one of the very few women surfing at the time. Her father was inspired to write a novel about her adventures, and Hollywood soon followed. Pop culture has been mixed up with surfing ever since. Gidget still lives near Malibu, and over the last 10 years has seen an explosion in women surfing. It's no longer an insult to surf like a girl.
I always surfed like a girl. That was just me. I don't know if it's my personality. I don't know if it's my influences. Each person can kind of bring their own special, flair to it.
These girls are really good. This ride alone represents my entire lifetime of hanging five. This kind of talent can wreak havoc on the old male ego.
Sometimes the guys get kind of aggro, but those are the kind of people that are just mad at the world anyway, I think, and they're gonna find a problem with whoever's out there, and especially when a bunch of girls show up and they probably surf better than them.
I love being with my friends and I love being with family, and fortunately for me, most of my friends and family do surf, and those are some of the best times I've ever spent.